Another day, another AI thing. So what you're looking at here, Nvidia just renounced. They probably should have. Nvidia just announced a new AI, and basically what this thing does is it can scan your game as you're playing it, and then it can like give you advice or like tell you what to do or stuff, I guess, which basically ChatGPT can do anyway. Just this time it can now see your screen and it can see what you're doing, and that's great. Apparently, there's going to be absolutely no privacy issues or anything with that of any kind. So let's just have a look at this video and see what exactly they're offering.
And rich gameplay systems to explore.
Blah blah, marketing speak. Where's the actual bit that they start like specifically saying?
Buying a game for the first time, overwhelmed, looking for that perfect weapon to min-max that DPS build.
Yeah, there you go. So basically just saying, apparently it's not just for noobs. So you can, like, this tool not only works just people are trying to look things up, but looking for a very specific tool that they can, like, level up. And that is actually kind of useful for specifically games like Daggerfall and Morrowind, like Elder Scrolls games, where your character build is very important from the get-go. And, like, yeah, you could spend, like, 10 hours researching a whole bunch of videos, looking up a whole bunch of things, and figuring out what the best possible character is for success, because if you make your character wrong, especially in Daggerfall, you are going to have a very bad time. You have to make your character right before your playstyle will work. Whereas in something like Skyrim or like, I guess, other RPGs, the game scales a bit more to your playstyle, not necessarily just your class or whatever you make your character. So in theory, this is quite an interesting concept, but obviously this is AI, so we'll get to that in a second. So this is how this whole tool is supposed to work. So you can say something to it, so you can literally just ask it a question, obviously, but it will also actually specifically look at your individual screen, and also it may have like some integration with the game specifically, and it will combine all these three to kind of figure out what you want to do. The weird thing is that later on it talks a bit about also customizing like to your specific PC. So apparently this tool can actually tailor your PC's specifications, tailor certain like power or wattage or performance based on what's best for your computer, which is actually quite a cool concept. But again, you're giving this AI access to your microphone and your basic computer stuff. Also, everything that is on your current screen, hopefully it's just for the games that you're playing, but even then it's a bit And also, like, the actual API itself, so it's got access to the whole game, to what you're seeing, and your voice. And then on top of that, if it works with your computer, it also has access to your computer. Now, obviously, Microsoft's already had their AI conference thing where they were showing off in their new computers the recall feature. And people really didn't like recall because it was basically taking screenshots of everything you do on your computer. Now, that might be a separate video if people want to hear that. But if people didn't like that, and that was just taking screenshots of what you're doing on a computer, this having access to your computer, and especially because AIs are known for what's called hallucinating, or literally just making things up. If this AI makes things up about your computer, like for example saying your CPU needs an overclock in order to get the best possible price to performance, that could literally screw up your entire computer. In theory this is kind of cool, but I think this is far more of a risk than it actually is a positive. I kind of want to check it out though, just because I'm mad like that. But yeah, as you can see with the like to dislike ratio, it is not the strongest. It's a lot better than I was expecting actually, but this has only been out for like 4 hours. So also, funnily enough, I don't know why I was going to add it, but I might as well add it in here. They actually made this as a joke earlier on. So apparently it was like 7 years ago now, which I don't remember that. And the first comment, I made a comment as well, but the first comment here really put it perfectly more or less. So it started off as an April Fool's joke, ended as a real thing. Like, they made a joke where you could just plug a USB stick in, and then the AI would just do whatever you wanted on the computer. Apparently now it's a real thing. Nvidia is an AI company now. It's no longer a gaming company, it's an AI company. And so everything has to be AI. And so yeah, that's great. That's not dystopian or, you know, Skynet, Terminator at all.
To show you what's possible, we partnered with Studio Wildcard for a tech demonstration using Ark Survival.
Oh yeah, Studio Wildcard, my favorite company that didn't scam me. Ark, the original one, where on Xbox, I bought it as an early access game, and then 4 flipping years later, it's just the same game. It barely changed. It still takes like 3 minutes to load on the base Xbox One, and that's like loading all the textures and stuff. And I feel completely scammed. I mean, it was better on PC, I guess, but you know, I just don't like this company. The game's alright. I have a lot of friends that like the game. I just don't like this company in particular. So here they give an example, like demonstration.
Early game weapon, and where do I find the crafting materials for it?
The best early game weapon is the spear. It provides knockback and is essential for survival.
So not only does the AI just sound terrible, it does not sound lifelike. It sounds like it just does not want to be there at all. I can't blame it, to be honest. If that was me voicing that, I would be the same thing. The thing that I don't quite get is you could just ask like Copilot or ChatGPT or any other of these AIs the same thing. So why do we need an Nvidia specific one? I get that you can read what's on your screen, but like, does it need to know what's on your screen? Because you could just ask another AI, just like, hey, what's the best one? Or even better, just go to, you know, a community, like a subreddit if you're that desperate, or like a Discord server or something, and just ask, hey, what's the best starting one? Now, someone like me, I'm quite antisocial, especially online, so I'd much rather ask an AI or like ask a friend as opposed to going into like a Discord group or something. And to be fair, Copilot's recently got quite decent. Like, I was asking it like intricate Elder Scrolls lore and it got it quite accurately, so you could just do that. I mean, Microsoft won't stop shoving Copilot in your face. It's not like you can avoid it. Even if you have like a Mac, you still pretty like, it's still pretty forced in your face. I'm not really sure how this is supposed to be like significantly better, but I mean, I guess it's just kind of there, so you can just use it if you feel like it.
Maybe you're staring at a dinosaur you're not familiar with and you want to know what it is or how to tame it.
I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, that's a Triceratops, isn't it? I'm pretty gonna be scolded by people who know what this is, but it is kind of cool that like you will see on screen and you'll be like, hey, what is that thing? And it will tell you what that thing is. But even then, you probably could just take a screenshot of it and send it to Copilot or send it in like a Discord server or something. So I'm not really sure why this is needed. I mean, we'll get to some bits later. So far, it hasn't shown us anything that like, I mean, this bit is a bit more interesting because it's showing like specific stats with your character. Again, like if it can tell you the best way to level up your character based on your playstyle. I'm thinking again specifically of Elder Scrolls, where like if you want to build like a specific battle mage, for example, instead of having to try and scour the internet, scour the Elder Scrolls forums and like Discords and Reddits and everything to try and figure out how to build your specific character, the AI would just be like, okay, do you want to build this character, so you can do this, 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 this before you even start the game and blah blah blah. That will make it a lot easier for games like Daggerfall for people to get into, because I know a lot of people that probably don't even want to play Skyrim because it can get complicated, let alone Daggerfall. That could be quite useful. It would definitely help people understand the game better and get more into the game. But again, why is this like an Nvidia specific tool? Like, none of this so far is something that I feel like I have to use this particular tool for. I have to get an Nvidia GeForce card for.
And if you want to dive deeper into a topic, you can simply click on the response to learn more at the official wiki, for instance.
At least it actually gives like links and references to what it's doing, because who knows how much longer that will last for. Like other AIs, I don't think ChatGPT does, it might do if I'm not mistaken. Copilot does actually add links, but not all the time, and it's not always the accurate link. If this does give accurate links, that is good, so you can actually do your own research and learn more. But again, how often is this AI going to hallucinate? How often is it actually going to get it wrong? And then at that point, you look at the link, you're like, this is not anything to do with what I asked. Like, what was the point?
Modern titles demand peak performance from our systems for a smooth and immersive experience.
This is both the coolest and the scariest part of this AI. So apparently this AI, because it has access to a computer, can actually specifically configure your system what you want it to be, as I mentioned earlier. The problem, how do we know that this won't go too far? Like, for example, if you're giving this to someone who knows nothing about PC gaming, just like, oh, the game's running at 30 FPS, how do I make it run at 60? Will it go, oh, you know, just put the settings on low, set the, you know, maybe do a bit of like FSR, DLSS or whatever? Or will it go, oh, well, if you want to make your computer run faster, but you don't want to buy a thing, overclock it 500 megahertz and then it will run at your performance. And then the user goes, okay, sure. And then like the GPU fries itself or something. How do we know that this AI is going to be safe and it's going to do the thing that the user wants without destroying the computer in the process? And that's not assuming that obviously this AI could be collecting tons and tons of data all about your computer and everything and then send it off to Nvidia. Who knows what this AI is collecting information on? This is quite a conundrum. It's like a double-edged sword. It's great if it works properly, but we don't know how well it will work, and there's a good chance that, especially at launch, it will not work properly. This could be a more dangerous tool than they intend for people who are new to PC gaming. See, again, this is the kind of thing where like it can actually do it for you. I think that it would be much better if the AI just told you what to do and then you had to go and do it, like it would walk you through it. But even then, like, for example, if it was like you asked it to do a BIOS update, how would it do that? Because the computer would have to turn off and update it. So unless if it asks you to do something like a BIOS update, but then that also kind of defeats the point because you could just get it on your phone. That's the thing as well, because like, I don't know if I'd trust giving this to a computer shop more, or if I would trust an AI to do it. That's the thing, right? Like, in theory, the computer shop would be better, obviously, but I don't know, I'm still quite conflicted on this. I'm conflicted on a lot of AI technologies. Like, I'm not against AI like most people are. I think AI can be really cool when it's used properly. It's just that none of us trust these big companies to use it properly for obvious reasons.
Your system has been optimized for performance per watt, with a minimum maintained frame rate of 60 FPS.
Yeah, that AI just sounds like it wants to leave the second you stop talking. It sounds like a receptionist who is like, it's like 6 p.m. and they're just desperate to go home.
AI assistants will transform the way we engage with our favorite games and apps. Project G Assist is a glimpse into that.
Yeah, the problem is, my guy, I don't think anybody wants it to. Obviously, this ain't your fault, you're just the presenter, but yeah, nobody trusts AI at the moment, so it probably wasn't the best time to release this. So yeah, overall, I have very mixed thoughts on it. On the one hand, it is really cool if it has specific access to your machine, because I've looked up so many articles and so many things about random issues that nobody else is having. Like, for one example, on my laptop as I'm recording this at the moment, it's getting really hot for absolutely no reason. I cleaned out the fans, I've de-bloated my windows, all that kind of stuff. I've done everything I can to optimize it. The only thing I haven't done is replace the thermal paste. But my laptop is like 2.5 years old. I should not need to replace the thermal paste this early on. So I have no idea why it's doing that. And the only articles I can find is you should replace the thermal paste, or it's something to do with the BIOS. Now, I can't roll back my BIOS update, at least as far as I know, so I don't have a clue what I'm doing. And I'm like, why is my laptop getting so hot? It's getting to like 85 degrees, and all I'm playing is like Oblivion or something. So in that case, an AI telling me how to fix my computer could actually be really useful. But even then, will it actually give me the right advice? Or will I do something, break my computer, and Nvidia's going to be like, oh, it ain't our fault. You shouldn't have followed the AI specifically. We made an AI. We didn't make a program that's supposed to magically fix your computer. I don't know what you're on about. I don't know, man. It sounds really cool in theory. I don't think it's going to be that good in practice. But who knows? Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe this might be great. What do you think? Leave a comment below about how terrible this program is. And actually, this video was just made by AI, and I'm somehow sponsored by AMD or something stupid that somebody will probably say. Also, let me know if you like this style of video. That's what I didn't mention. Because I do want to do a lot more just like talking about news, just like much simpler projects while I'm working on other things. Because otherwise, I just won't have the motivation to do it. A lot of my projects, I have to do everything the same day that I start doing it. If I don't finish it within the same day, I'll probably just give up on it. It is quite frustrating, and I wish I was more like disciplined and, motivated to finish projects, but my brain just doesn't want to do that. So it's a lot easier for me to record much simpler videos like this, and it's not nearly as overwhelming then as it would be for a much bigger project. So let me know if you like this kind of video, and go watch something else.